Hey, this what I want to do is I want to talk with you today about something that a lot of people actually have a problem with. It's called the psychology of struggle. And I've studied psychology for years and years and years, not only about business, but about marketing and about leadership, communication, all that other stuff. But struggle seems to be the one thing that people can't seem to get a handle on. I brought some notes with me today because I want to make sure that we get into this about 8 or 10 minutes long, but we're going to show you, teach you, get you out of that struggle mode. Because let's take a look at it. What is really struggle? Let's start there. Struggle is, for the most part, an emotional overwhelm that then impacts every other thing that you do. It impacts your thinking, it impacts your actions, it impacts your beliefs, it impacts your expectations. But struggle, the nuclear core of it is pretty much emotional overwhelm because your emotions are telling you, I don't think I can do this. Can I really do this? What about that thinking? I'm going to look stupid. If I fail, I'm going to look dumb. You need to get rid of all that. Because today we're going to talk about how to move beyond the struggle, even if it's just the first step. Because if you're struggling, I want you to understand every single person that's been in your shoes, starting right where you are or wherever you are in the process, have been there. Every successful person, every millionaire, every billionaire, they have been there. And the reason why that they're millionaires or earning six figures or whatever is because they got past the struggle. They were willing to go through it. They were willing to do whatever it took, and they went through the process of building their business, whatever business it is, whatever profession, whatever entrepreneur, whatever industry. They built it through the power of understanding the struggle actually works for you, not against you. And we're going to talk about that today because we're going to talk about some things maybe you probably never heard before, but I want to help you in getting you to that place where you don't struggle that much any longer, or at least take the first step. I want you to understand that struggle is the brain's way of signaling there's a disconnect. There's a self image disconnect, a self image mismatch, if you will. Because what's happening is your current actions that you're taking are not that you want to take as far as to get to where you want to go for your future. Those actions you're taking, they're not matching your current self image. The actions that you want to take aren't matching your current self image, so they become uncomfortable. And even you might start sabotaging them and not really knowing you're doing this. It's all subconscious. Your current actions don't match the future you that you're trying to become. You must upgrade your self image, folks. Now, you've heard this before, but I've always said you must build a bigger fire in the new self image than the old version of you. Your brain loves consistency. Your brain loves predictability. And when you start looking into the future and building a new self image, a new version of you, the brain freaks. And the reason why is because it prefers familiarity. That's just how the brain works. What can you do to be able to move through this and tell the brain something different? Well, the greatest way that you can change your self image, if you will, is through actions. Small, little itty bitty actions that your future self would take, you take now. And those actions, one by one, a little at a time, baby stepping you along the way, what'll happen is when you repeat it daily over and over and over and over and over again, and it may be small little actions that are maybe meaningful but don't move you that far in advance because you got to train your brain before you can change your self image. What you're doing is this is who we are now. You do the action. You're telling the brain, this is who we are now. You do that action again. This is who we are now. Whatever action your future self, the new version of you, will be taking, take a small little action every single day or multiple small actions because you're telling your brain, this is who we are now. And the other thing is change the environment. I had to do that. Change the environment of the old self image so that it can survive. What do you mean? There's certain thoughts, certain actions, or certain emotions that the old self image, the old version of you, really feels comfortable with. You've got to get really good and comfortable with being uncomfortable by moving into different other types of environment. To fix it, maybe you have new routines. Maybe you change up your routine during the course of a day and you ask, what would the new version of myself be doing? Well, I'd be doing this, this, and this. You start doing that because you're telling your brain, this is the new me. Maybe new cues, maybe new rituals, maybe new people. This is the thing that changed my life. As my mentor said, Douglas, if you want to change who you are, start holding different conversations with new people that are going or are at where you want to go. This is what you have to do. You have to hold new conversations with people that are already there or on the road with you so that you can change the environment of what's inputting into your internal machine, if you will. To fix it, again, change your environment, change how your conversations are, because understand the size of your conversations will always determine the size of your success. Did you get that? The size of your conversations between you and others will always pretty much influence and determine the size of your success. This is why struggle is the brain's way of signaling there's a real friction here, a real dissonance. We need to fix this. You need to upgrade your self-image through small little itty-bitty actions, and then creating an environment of conversation, of new routines, of doing new habits, forming new habits that will not only validate the new self-image, but tell the brain, this is who we are now. Number two, struggle grows when the internal system on the inside interprets progress as danger. Did you get that? Struggle grows when your internal process signals danger. And the reason why you want to do this, and I'm going to looky here something. Your body resists change because it's wired to protect you. Did you get that? Your body is wired to protect you, to protect the familiar, to protect the predictable, to protect the consistency. It's going to protect that because that's what it's used to. And when you start pursuing change, the body says, whoa, 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 whoa. And you start moving forward, your body no longer, or your brain really, your internal system no longer recognizes that. You must normalize this temporary uncomfortableness in moving to from the old version of you to the new version of you, because when the struggle grows, your internal system is interpreting progress as danger. You're changing. What's going on? I don't like this. This is where we all have come from. This is where everybody that wants to build something large, successful, multimillionaire, they have gone through this. And if you're going through this right now, it's normal. When you were struggling, it is a doorway to something greater. And when your body, your internal system tells you that progress is not good, don't listen to it. What you want to do, take small repeated actions again and again and again to tell the brain, this is the new me. Because it's, some people say, well, I'm going to change my thinking. It's not going to work. Well, I'm going to change how I expect things. It's not going to work. The only thing that's going to upgrade quickly your self-image are small actions that are the new version of you would take. And you got to understand that, because I've been there. And you start taking those small actions, making those conversations with bigger prospects, talking with people that make a whole lot more money than you, or talking to your chicken list, maybe about real estate. You want to call them and ask them if they knew someone wants to sell a home. All of this is part of changing and upgrading your self-image. So number one, struggle is the brain's way, folks, of signaling there's a self-image disconnect, the old version versus the new version, and they're going like this. Struggle goes when the internal system interprets progress as danger, and that's normal. But then something interesting happens. Struggle intensifies when you carry those invisible, unreasonable expectations. You put so much pressure on you because the struggle is getting to you, and you put so much pressure on you because I got to make this work. Well, what you're doing is people aren't overwhelmed by the work. I mean, everybody works hard. They're emotionally overwhelmed by the internal pressure you put on yourself, which creates more struggle because I don't want to fail. Christ himself said, what man builds a tower that doesn't consider the cost? Think about that. Christ said, what man builds a tower and doesn't consider the cost? This means that you got a plan, but understand that you can't live in a fantasy world. You can't have unreasonable expectations. That's what Christ was saying. You've got to know the cost. You've got to know the blueprint. You've got to know what it's going to take. You must lower the pressure of what you're doing, struggling, by stepping back and taking small baby step expectations, not giant leaps. If you're expecting to do $1,000 tomorrow in sales, why don't you do 100? If you're expecting to do $5,000 in sales this week, why don't you do 2,500 or 2,000? Take the pressure off and baby step upgrade the self-image. Struggle intensifies when you carry unreasonable expectations because it puts a unreasonable pressure on you, which really does harm your efforts, your actions, as well as your results. Number 4 little point I want to make, it's kind of interesting. Struggle expands when you fight it, not partnering with it. And this is one of the things that I've coached so many people on. You've got to make struggle your partner, and they're like, "What? How would I do that? Why would I do that?" You've got to make struggle your partner in the business. Why? Because it's there anyway. It's not going to go away until you go through it. That's just how it is. Resistance doubles when you treat struggle like an enemy. Did you get that? Resistance doubles when you treat your struggle like an enemy. Let me explain. If you need to switch this, don't fight it. Look at it for what it really is. And I want to change your perspective here. Struggle is a doorway. And on the other side of that doorway is something big, much bigger than where you are now, much bigger than anything you've ever achieved. But you have to go through the doorway first. And sometimes it takes a bit to get the door unjammed so that you can move through and get to a bigger place, a new level, a new version of you. But continue to force the door open. Continue to go through the experience of struggling with action, struggling with results, struggling with your thinking, struggling with your belief. All of that's going to happen. It's just the way it is. But when you look at struggle as a doorway, and it's something that you've got to really, really jam to open up, it changes things. I always ask, okay, here's the doorway. And before I ever go through that doorway of struggle, what am I supposed to learn here? I know that God's trying to teach me something. You know, instead of asking, why is this happening? I don't understand. No, what you want to do is say, what is it that God's trying to teach me here? I'm going to go through that door. This doorway that right there I'm struggling with, going to open, and I'm going to get into that larger place, that bigger place, that new level. But don't fight it. Understand it's just part of the process of building what you want to build. And the one thing my mentor said, Douglas, I can give you everything you need to go out and make $1 million a year. But he says, the one thing I can't teach you is experience. He said, that's God's job. And he said, experience comes through the struggle, through the worst times, through the setbacks, through the resistance, through all those different things. He says, that's where the struggle is valuable, because it really builds you to the place where when you hit struggle in the future, it won't have hardly any impact on you, because you'll know it's a doorway. You're going to know exactly what to do to get through that door as quickly as possible. Experience, folks, is what you're building right now if you're struggling. Understand that. Don't fight it, because the more that you fight it, the more it's going to fight you. And don't be by yourself. Number 5, don't do this alone. This is the thing that a lot of people do when they start struggling and they really, really start having kind of freaky thoughts and say, man, well, I must be a loser and everything else. And they start isolating themselves because they don't want to have people judging them. First off, nobody's going to judge you. You're doing something they are not doing because they don't have the guts to. You're putting yourself on the line every day and building something that's going to be an amazing future. Most people don't do that. The mind freaks when it believes that you've got to do this alone. This is one of the biggest mistakes of why people struggle. It really does. It's just like, what? I got to do this alone? But here's the greatest part. You don't have to do this alone. You don't have to struggle or experience what you need to experience in order to get through that next doorway alone. And this is why one of the greatest bits of pieces of information, advice, whatever you want to call it, is start creating what I call small itty bitty conversations with one person. Just call them and say, man, how's things going? I'm really, really struggling here, but I just wanted to talk with you. Get some encouragement, get some advice, call people that are successful and say, I'm where you were years ago. And I was just wondering, how did you handle this? I had a president of a bank in Virginia when I was first got into direct sales, and I was struggle. And I called, it was a friend of my dad's, and I called this guy and I said, Mr. Edwards, if you don't mind, could I just take 2 minutes and ask you a question? He goes, sure. I'm where you were about 30 years ago, and I'm starting a business. And I was just wondering, how did you get through the first year of struggle? And he just laughed. He says, oh my goodness gracious. He says, I remember those days. We all go through it, Doug. He says, the greatest thing you can do is to keep moving and understand that it is the struggle that builds you stronger in order to build bigger. And I've never forgotten that. You must create small little itty bitty conversations, one moment, one right conversation like I had with Mr. Edwards, that one great word, that one piece of advice, that one whatever. It could be a podcast, even could be a video like this. That suddenly, tick, the psychological chokehold of your emotions suddenly released because you realize, oh, I can get through this because everybody else that's ever become successful had to go through the same thing. So this is normal for people that want to build a 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure business. Absolutely normal. And that's the last part of this. Struggle is normal for those who want to live an abnormal life. Did you get that? You want to live an abnormal life. You want to live a life of 7, 8 figures. You want to live a lifestyle that most people dream of. You want to build a business that really makes a difference in people's lives. You want to build something that most people couldn't even conceive building. Well, guess what? Struggle is normal for those who want something beyond normal in the future. Does it get easier? Of course it does. Until you get to the real higher levels. And then that's when you really have to step back and say, okay, let's hit it again. The more you struggle, the better you become, the smarter you become, the more powerful you become. The thing that you have to do, MONEY, management of negative emotions, yours. I've been teaching that for 30 years. If you want to really, truly start building money and a cash flow coming in, management of negative emotions, MONEY, management of negative emotions, yours. That's the secret, guys. The psychology of struggle is all about your self-image. It's all about your environment. It's all about the small actions you want to take. It's all about quit fighting it and start partnering up with it. And then don't do it by yourself. Get people that will connect with you, hold conversations with you, encourage you, and even teach you things that maybe you need to learn. That's why I do these videos, because I want you to get through what you're going through. And you will. Just don't listen to your brain saying, oh man, who are you to think you could do this? The reason why that, I love this one. The reason why we're struggling so hard is God doesn't want us to do this. Ugh. The reason why that you're going through the struggle, it's all part of everything that happens when somebody tries to increase anything in life. It's that simple. And when you learn that, it makes struggle understand it's just another doorway that you have to walk towards, jam open and push and push and push and push and push and push until that door opens. And then what's on the other side is so much bigger than where you are now. Don't give up on the struggle, because the struggle will give up if you show it that you're not giving up. So guys, like, follow, share. This is about the psychology of struggle. Become part of the FIRE family. And most importantly, spread the fire. People need this. Send this to people that are struggling. They need to understand what to do. Thank you. God bless you. Spread the fire.